Why you wouldn't survive 1 week as a hunter-gatherer. Part 1. You wake up because the ground beneath you has become warm. The first thing you hear isn't an alarm clock. It's birds, wind moving through dry grass, children whispering nearby. Somewhere in the distance, a hyena laughs. There are no walls around you. No roof. No phone buzzing beside your head. No coffee waiting in the kitchen. For nearly 300,000 years, this wasn't unusual. This was simply another morning. Today, most people imagine hunter-gatherers as dirty cave dwellers who spent every waking hour running from predators and desperately searching for food. Hollywood loves that image. History doesn't. In fact, if you suddenly found yourself living with a hunter-gatherer band tomorrow morning, your biggest problem probably wouldn't be lions. It wouldn't even be starvation. Your biggest enemy would be yourself. Everything your brain expects. Everything your body depends on. Everything you've spent your entire life taking for granted. Modern humans often believe we are more advanced than our ancestors. We have medicine, electricity, cars, computers, artificial intelligence. But evolution doesn't care how smart your smartphone is. It only cares whether you survive until tomorrow. And in that world, most of us wouldn't. Not because we're weak, because we've forgotten how to be human in the environment that shaped us. Imagine standing up after your first night. Your feet immediately hurt. There are no shoes. Every step lands on uneven ground covered in stones, thorns, loose branches, and hidden insects. Your ancestors didn't simply tolerate walking barefoot. Their feet developed differently from yours. Decades of walking strengthened muscles that many modern people barely use anymore. Your body, however, has spent years walking on flat concrete floors, soft carpets, rubber shoes. Within hours, your feet begin blistering. Within days, every step becomes painful, and you've only just started. Breakfast isn't waiting. Nobody stocked a refrigerator yesterday. Nobody ordered groceries online. Nobody knows if breakfast even exists. That's one of the hardest realities for modern people to imagine. Food isn't guaranteed. Every meal begins with uncertainty. Anthropologist Richard Lee discovered something fascinating while studying the Jew/Hoansi people of southern Africa during the 1960s. Most outsiders assume they spent nearly every hour desperately searching for food. Instead, Lee found something completely unexpected. Hunter-gatherers often spent only around 15 to 20 hours each week collecting enough food for the entire community. That's less than many people today spend sitting in meetings. So why does surviving seem so difficult? Because gathering food wasn't simply physical work. It required knowledge. Thousands of tiny pieces of knowledge. Which berries become poisonous after rain? Which roots store water during drought? Which trees attract bees? Which birds reveal nearby predators? Which animal tracks are fresh? Which ones are already hours old? To an outsider, the landscape looks empty. To a hunter-gatherer, it's filled with information. Imagine someone dropping you into the middle of the Amazon rainforest. Everything looks green. Everything looks identical. Now imagine dropping an indigenous hunter there. They don't see trees. They see food, medicine, danger, water, shelter, history, memory. The difference isn't eyesight. It's experience. Every rock, every broken branch, every footprint tells a story. Your ancestors learned that language before they could even speak. Children weren't given lectures. There were no classrooms, no homework. Learning happened every single day simply by watching adults. A 5-year-old already knew which plants could be eaten. A 10-year-old could recognize dozens of animal tracks. Teenagers often joined hunting parties long before adulthood. Knowledge wasn't written inside books. It lived inside people. Lose an elder, and you lost an entire library. This is one reason anthropologists often describe hunter-gatherers as having extraordinary memories, not because their brains were different, because forgetting could kill you. Today, your phone remembers birthdays, phone numbers, appointments, directions, recipes, shopping lists, passwords, maps. Back then, your brain carried everything, and that wasn't optional. Even finding water demanded incredible skill. Modern people often imagine rivers flowing everywhere. Reality was rarely so generous. Experienced foragers knew how certain insects behaved before rain. They recognized bird migrations. They noticed tiny changes in vegetation. Sometimes a patch of greener grass revealed underground moisture invisible to everyone else. Anthropologists who spent years with the Jew/Hoansi noticed that these observations weren't considered extraordinary. They were simply normal life, like checking today's weather forecast. Except instead of opening an app, you opened your senses. That's a skill many of us have quietly lost. Now imagine your first hunting expedition. There's no GPS, no satellite map, no rifle scope, no drone, only footprints, wind, smell, silence. A hunter kneels beside a nearly invisible print pressed into soft. He touches it gently. Without saying a word, everyone changes direction. You see, that's because tracking isn't seeing footprints. It's reading time. The depth tells weight. The edges tell age. Broken leaves reveal speed. Scattered soil suggests panic. A missing branch hints at direction. One footprint becomes an entire sentence. Hundreds become a complete story. To you, it never stopped talking. And unless you could learn its language almost immediately,